Good evening, everyone. Welcome to People's Security Bank Theater at Lackawanna College. My name is Jim Cullen. I'm the director. Thank you for coming to tonight's graduation ceremony. Yes. Hazleton Class 241 graduation, honor, integrity, and courage. Before we begin, I ask if you have a cell phone or any device that has the potential to make sound, if you would please silence it for us. Thank you. Thank you for abiding by our no food or drink policy here in the theater. There's really no restrictions on taking photography. We just ask that you please do it politely. And we'll be taking a great shot over there. That's our very own photographer, Chris Hughes, who will be taking a nice picture of the cadet receiving their diploma. Give yourself a moment to make yourselves aware of the theater exits nearest you. And now it is my great honor, once again, to introduce the director of the Lackawanna College Police Academy, John Leary.
Welcome. What an exciting night it is for our staff, and more importantly for your cadet and you. I want to welcome you here, friends, supporters, for coming here tonight, and more importantly, encouraging your cadet, and most importantly, supporting your cadet throughout this academy experience. I want to thank you for your attendance tonight, and understand that this is such an important event. It is a new chapter in the life of your cadet. At this time, I'd like to introduce some very important people to us. I'd like to introduce our staff, or as I like to call them, the Academy family that makes this all happen. Seated behind me is Assistant Director of Academy Operations, Robert Jolly, retired Chief of the Police of Dallas Township. Our Academy Operations Coordinator, Will Oliphant, retired Captain of the Pennsylvania State Police. And not to diminish their importance, but probably the most important people in this academy that make things happen for us is my administrative assistants. Lynn Mellon, Denise Boyle, they put an incredible amount of time and energy. And I always refer to it when I talk to other people in the college. I'm fortunate. You may have compliant employees or staff. I have a committed team. They're here oftentimes long after closing hours to get things done for us, to make sure this experience goes right for your cadet. We have a cadre of absolutely the best instructors. In your program, you'll find a listing of all of the instructors and their background. And I can assure you it's second to none in the Commonwealth for municipal academies. We have instructors representative of federal, state, local law enforcement, and correction agencies. They share their experience and knowledge to develop the best law enforcement officers and future law enforcement leaders. I like to say they're developing a different kind of officer. With us tonight is one of our drill instructors and lead firearm instructors, Dan Fellinger. Next to Dan is Nick Bernardi, officer with the Old Forge Police Department and firearms instructor. Seated to my right is Chief Ken Zapotsky. Ken is a general instructor, and I like to say he can teach just about anything in this academy. Ken is one of those guys that is our go-to guy. Anytime we need somebody to teach a class, no matter what the topic is, he's capable of doing it. And once again, honored to have all of them here. It's my privilege to introduce our honored guest on stage. Seated behind me, John Ruboskin, Vice President of Finance and Administration. Directly in front of us, and will be on stage, Mr. Dominic DeNaples, a longtime supporter, and I like to say one of the Police Academy's biggest cheerleaders. Greg Gagoric, seated behind me, a local business owner and member of the Lackawanna College Board of Trustees. I mentioned before Chief Robert Jolly, retired chief of Dallas Township Police Department. Will Oliphant, captain, retired Pennsylvania State Police, and our Police Academy Operations Coordinator. And we are honored to have our guest speaker for tonight, Gene Tellerico, Esquire, a Lackawanna County prosecutor for 25 years, a true professional, and a personal friend, and a friend and supporter of all of law enforcement. Chaplain Dennis Augustine, Senior Chaplain at Scranton Police Department, and he will be doing our invocation tonight. Also with us tonight is Scranton Police Department Officer Paul Reed, who is the Vice President of the Never Forgotten Motorcycle Ride, and his wife, Sandy, one of the directors of Never Forgotten Motorcycle Ride. Also with it is Chief Al Walker. He's the Chief of Police of the Hanover Township Police Department and the first Vice President of the Pennsylvania Chiefs of Police Association. And Jim Cullen had introduced Chris Hughes earlier. He will be taking photographs tonight of the ceremony. These photographs will be made available to your cadet as our gift to them. Tonight's ceremony is also being recorded, and each cadet will be receiving a copy of the DVD, again, as a gift to them, and our videographer is Mark Mcclain. So as we begin our ceremony tonight, I would like to introduce representatives of the class, of the current class that are in session. Class 243, part-time Hazleton, 244, Hazleton full-time, and 245, Scranton full-time. And I stand corrected, 243 is our part-time Scranton. They will now enter and take their seats. The cadets from these three classes are here this evening to honor and show support for their fellow cadets as they graduate. It is a special night for them as they too will be graduating shortly in the future. Please join me in welcoming the graduating class, Class 241, as they enter the theater. I ask all of our guests to please stand and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance, led by Class Captain Nicholas Greco, and Invocation by Chaplain Augustine. States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing. We will now have the invocation by Chaplain Augustine.
Let us pray. Almighty God, you rule over everything. Please be with these cadets who are graduating from the Police Academy tonight, class number 241. Lord, I pray for Brandon Gargan, Nicholas Greco, Zachary Heinlein, Frank Kirschner, Robert Kleppinger, Anna Malaku Flail, Lauren McFarland, and Thomas McMahon. I pray for safety, God, that you would take care of them, that you would take care of their families, protect them, keep them, sustain them. In tradition of the Academy, Lord, we dedicate their training and graduation to Fallen Officer Patrolman Brian David Shaw of the New Kensington Police Department. Pray, Lord, that you would be with his family and his loved ones. I also pray for the cadets for strength, courage, resolve, integrity, honor, and character. And finally, Lord, I want to take a moment on behalf of these cadets to thank you for their journey so far. Thank you for all of the support from their friends and family, and to entrust to you whatever is next. Lord, thank you for being an amazing Savior. It's all for your honor and glory. And in your name we ask this. Amen.
Thank you. Guests can now be seated. The cadets will now undergo their final inspection as a class. The Academy is a paramilitary organization, just as police departments are. We require uniforms, conduct inspections, perform drill and ceremony activities. We have a command structure, and the cadets wear their Class A uniforms for their graduation. The final inspection will be conducted by a member of Lackawanna College Board of Trustees, Dominic DeNaples. Dominic is a veteran of the United States Army, a member of the Lackawanna College Board of Trustees. He will be assisted tonight by our Academy Operations Coordinator, Will Oliphant. Mr. DeNaples, Mr. Oliphant.
Director Kalari, I now return to you Class 241. This class has met all requirements necessary for certification. This class is well prepared. This class is duly prepared.
Thank you. Drill Instructor Belanger, Instructor Bernardi, please take command of Class 241. Thank you. How about a round of applause for Class 241? At this time, I'd like to introduce one of our Board of Trustees for Lackawanna College. We'll now hear from Trustee Greg Gregoric. He's going to share a few words with the graduating class. Greg?
Good evening, everyone. Class 241, faculty, staff, fellow cadets, friends and family. On behalf of Lackawanna College, President Mark Volk, and the Board of Trustees, I would like to thank everyone for coming out tonight to celebrate this milestone for Class 241 as they prepare for the beginning of their tour of duty. These are very exciting times at Lackawanna College as we continue to bring more and more innovative solutions to meet the educational demands of tomorrow. For over 40 years, this police academy has played a vital role in the college and will continue for some time in the future. Class 241, you have completed one of the finest law enforcement training programs in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. The program you have completed was designed to produce the highest quality, most capable, and prepared men and women who are ready to both join and serve our communities and make significant impacts in the life of our citizens. In this ever-changing world, some truths remain forever constant. Our communities want and need safe and vibrant neighborhoods so we can raise our families. Our businesses need and want safe commercial areas to be free of crime. You know, most Americans will never know what it's like to wear a badge or to put on a duty belt. Most of us will never fully understand and appreciate the trials and challenges you'll face in your days ahead. But the simple truth is, we need you. We need your service. We need your courage. We need to know that you'll be there for us when the unexpected comes. And in the end, we're all brought together to serve each other. And I sincerely hope the values of community service that you have been taught here and have been ingrained in you will serve you well in your careers as you move forward. Class 241, I want you to know that all of us are very proud of you. We have a lot of respect in you. And as you begin your careers, always be mindful of the lessons you learned here of honor, integrity, and courage. And always, please, put mission and service before self. On behalf of each of the Board of Trustees, I wish you all the best of luck in the years to come. Godspeed. We're rooting for you.
Thank you. The cadets have an incredible role at the academy, not only as students, but they have also contributed a great deal of community service to our community. It's a requirement of our college, of our police academy, that each cadet participate in community service. That community service happens under the leadership of themselves. We have a chain of command. It's selected by the academy director with input from the instructors and the staff. The chain of command is part of their training to introduce them to the concept of organizational structure of a police department. The chain of command has emphasis on communication, organization, and discipline. The chain of command for Class 241 is Captain Nicholas Greco and Lieutenant Anna Maluk Fail. The chain of command is so important to what we do here. Again, they help us keep the organization and the structure of the academy. And it is so important in a program that is as long as the law enforcement program in Pennsylvania. At this time, we're going to hear remarks from one of the cadets from Class 241. We've asked Cadet Thomas McMahon to say a few words. Sir?
Good evening. I'd like to start off by thanking Director Leary, Mr. Oliphant, Mr. Jolly, and all the instructors that taught us throughout this past year. I know that when my class began, it was in the wake of our former Academy Director, Marianne Grippo's passing. I never had the pleasure of being here under her direction, but I know that it was a very difficult time and chaotic time for this Academy after her passing. So thank you also for maintaining your commitment to our education and training throughout that. The knowledge that we have gained through your guidance will prove to be of great value to my class and I. I'd like to recognize and thank the family of my class's fallen officer, Brian David Shaw of the New Kensington Police Department, and offer our sympathies. We chose him to represent our class because he was starting his career as a police officer, like we are now, when he was taken from this world before his time. On behalf of my class, I would also like to thank all of our families, our friends, our significant others who had to put up with us this past year. It was a long road for us, but it was a long road for all of you as well. So thank you. We could not have made it here without you. This long journey was filled with memorable experiences, and we sacrificed a lot of things to get here where we are today. We sacrificed time with our families, friends, dates, important events. Sometimes we used our vacation and personal days to do community service and make it to class. But as Mr. Oliphant imparted onto us, those events were put in place to teach us the meaning of the personal sacrifice that's necessary for us as police officers to serve and improve our communities. We also gained a lot from this year as well. We gained an academic knowledge of the Pennsylvania law and criminal justice system, a practical understanding of how to perform the profession of a law enforcement officer, and we gained each other as a family for this year. I think this is a comparison that I've heard made by other class speakers at past graduations, but I think that's so because it's a good comparison. Our two class officers were like a mother and father, helping to guide their children. Captain Greco, the strict military father I never wanted but was glad to have for this year. You're always making sure that everyone looked and acted sharply, and we were a better class because of that. Anna, the comforting, nurturing mother, always offering encouragement and praise, but also a mother that can suplex someone and beat them up. Frank, AKA Gerber Baby. I'll never laugh as much as I have after spending this year with you. If you really wanted to, you could become a comedian after you retire as a police officer. Kleppinger, don't worry, I'll call you Rob from now on so I don't mispronounce your last name anymore. You're the best running partner I could have asked for that 5K we participated in. Gargan, I don't think any of us will ever forget the side of your back since we had to stare at it the whole time during PT. And Lauren, you're like the sister that I never had, always willing to offer advice and help out anyone in our class when they needed it, and also volunteering your time to make our class video. You're a man who's honest to a fault, Zach, and because of that, I don't think I'll be able to ever unhear some of the things that you've said in our presence. But that's a very good quality to have, and I know it'll serve you well in the future. I could have made a speech about each and every one of my classmates, but then we'd be here all night, and this exciting graduation is as exciting as I know, but we're all excited to partake in some after-graduation celebration as well. So I'd just like to say it was a pleasure to spend this year with all of you, and I'll never forget a single one of you. I feel that between our training and the time that we shared together during this year, we all grew more as people and embody honor, integrity, and courage. 2 years ago, I never thought that I could stand up here and give this speech to you all now. My classmates and I have been forged over this past year into the men and women that we need to be. We are all capable of great things. Now my class and I are going to accomplish great things as police officers. And on that note, and on the earlier note of sacrifice, I leave you with a short, simple quote from a personal hero of mine, Dr. Jordan B. Peterson. Never sacrifice who you can become for who you are right now. You can always make yourself better. Thank you. Have a good evening.
I heard something about after ceremony, what was that? I don't recall getting an invitation. That's all I can say. What a great class. As he said, it was a very difficult time. I came on board in February of 2018. Their class was already underway, so we were catching it midstream. And everybody pulled together to make sure that this was a success for them. There were some very trying times. However, here we are tonight. It is a great privilege and honor to introduce our guest speaker, Attorney Gene Tellerico. Gene is a longtime friend and a mentor for many of us in law enforcement. When we asked Gene to speak here this evening, a lot of thought went into who would be our speaker. And I could only think of one person who was so influential in my life as a law enforcement officer. Attorney Tellerico is a 1985 graduate of the University of Scranton and was a Juris Doctor from Widener Commonwealth Law School in Harrisburg. Mr. Tellerico joined the Lackawanna County District Attorney's Office in 1992. In 1994, he was promoted to the head of the Child Abuse Special Victims Unit. In 2000, Mr. Tellerico was appointed to the Assistant District Attorney of the Lackawanna County, was appointed first Assistant District Attorney of Lackawanna County, and he remained in that position until 2016. In March of 2016, Mr. Tellerico became General Counsel for SCE Environmental Group, which is an environmental contractor in Lake area. Mr. Tellerico had a brilliant career as a prosecutor and was a true friend and assistant to all of us in law enforcement and to the victims of crime. He served as a prosecutor for 25 years. He prosecuted 26 murder cases, prosecuted more than 5,000 criminal cases, prosecuted hundreds of child abuse cases, served as a special assistant to the U.S. Attorney, the United States Attorney General's Office for the Middle District of Pennsylvania. He served as a Special Deputy Attorney General for the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, a founding board member of the Child Advocacy Center of Northeast PA, an instructor for the Pennsylvania State Police Training Academy in Hershey, instructor at Widener School of Law for their trial advocacy program. Gene also served as an advisor to the Lackawanna County SWAT team. And he was a very important piece of legislation. He drafted a position paper of the PA's version of Jessica's Law, which is designed to protect children from child predators. And one very, very important role that he continues to serve in, and we at the Academy are proud to be part of. He is the current president and founding board member of Marley's Mission, Inc. As I said, Gene has been a true friend and a friend to all of law enforcement in Northeast Pennsylvania. Gene?
Thank you, John. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I just have to get my things in order. Thank you all for being here tonight. Honored guests, parents, families, friends, truly, truly an incredibly proud evening. To Class 241, I find it very uncomfortable that you won't look at me when I speak. But you're laughing, which is good. Hey, perfect. If I can ask permission, could you let them look at me? It's fine, perfect.
You could look at
be at ease, you're good. You know, it's amazing to think, you know, I come to this place, and I met a lot of you before. You watched my nervous energy up and down the hallways, and I'm waiting for people to finish so I can say my words. And I understand how important this night is for each and every one of you, for the cadets here on the stage, for families, and the tremendous pride that you each must have. I understand the depth and the breadth of this program. It's not easy. I've been a mock trial attorney. I don't know that I was for this class, but I've been for so many, conducting mock direct and cross-examinations and walking through that first sort of phase in the criminal justice system that so many of the cadets have to experience. In fact, every one of them does. And there is just tremendous commitment from the police academy, its instructors, its leaders, but most significantly from you, each and every one of you. In 1992, I became a prosecutor. It was something I aspired to do. It was something that I learned from an internship that I had at the district attorney's office in Scranton, and it connected with me. And I can tell you this for sure, policing today is so very different than policing was in 1992. You've got a hard job ahead of you. You have much to be proud of, but you're going out into a very different and sometimes very scary world. And for that, you have my deepest gratitude and that of my family. When it comes time to talk about what are the right words to say to men and women that'll don the badge and do things that none of us could imagine ever doing, people that will see the unthinkable and be called upon to respond and help when the unimaginable happens. They're your sons and your daughters and your friends and your brothers and sisters. They are this class before you. What we can rest assured is that they will do so with professionalism, with honor, with dignity, and with pride. When you leave here for your final time, take with you what you learn, not just from your books, not just from your exercises, but from the incredible people that cross paths with you. It's part of what makes this institution such a tremendous place to learn and be educated and prepared. Be kind. Treat people the way you would want to be treated. And understand, you may, once, twice, or many times, be the first one on scene for an infant who can't breathe. And it's you who will breathe life back into that child. It's you, because of your empathy and compassion, that has the ability to talk to a man who thinks there's nothing worth living for. And then he chooses to live. It's an awesome responsibility. It's not one for the faint of heart, and it's certainly not for everyone. I applaud you for your commitment to this vocation. Take all of what you've learned here and in your life and carry it with you every day, whether it be a kind word and a smile on a street corner, offering directions to someone who's clearly going the wrong way down the street. That makes a difference. It truly does. And be impacted by what you experience. I don't know that, as John said, Marley's mission has been near and dear to my heart. I think you folks may have spent some time there. Did you volunteer there, this group, or was it the group before at summer camp? Yeah, that was, you guys were there? Let me just take 1 minute and tell you, when I say let your life and your experiences impact you, were it not for me being a prosecutor on July 5th, 2009, I would have never, ever, ever been associated with this incredible group. It was the early morning hours of July 5th, and I was first assistant DA, and I handled most of the child abuse cases in Lackawanna County. And I got a call about 3 o'clock in the morning to go to the emergency room at then CMC Hospital. And I had seen a lot of things. I'd been prosecuting for some time. Seen a lot of things I didn't expect to see. I saw a lot of things that shook me, but nothing shook me like this. When I had heard a 5-year-old girl was hurt as badly as she was by a predator who broke into her home. To this day, I can't unsee what I saw. I can't unhear what I heard. So I had a choice. As a prosecutor, my job was to prosecute that case, make sure that I did the best I could for that little girl and for her family. But then what? Was that enough? That was my realization that it wasn't enough. The offender was the first person in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania to serve a life sentence for a crime that did not involve someone's death. So from a professional standpoint, that was a good result. My overarching concern, however, was, would she be okay? Because I know how I was. I could only imagine how she was. Through the course of a few months, she went to incredibly talented folks, and it just wasn't helping. Until through creativity and ingenuity and a passion to help her, a horse became infused into her therapy. And remarkable things started to happen. And within months, she wasn't better, but she was getting better. And I had the distinct privilege to be asked by her mom and her family to help them do something. They too, unbelievably, incredibly selfless people. Her mom wanted to allow others who may have experienced this kind of harm to have the same opportunity her child did. And she wanted to create a nonprofit group that would provide it for free. So on July 5th, 2010, 1 year to the day of that attack, Marley's Mission opened its doors. Since that time, more than 900 children from 13 counties have been provided free care to help them be able to define their own lives rather than be defined by what they've experienced. Why I say to take your experiences with you, because I could have ignored that. So many of us do. Because it makes you feel. Sometimes it doesn't feel so good. But sometimes you understand what it is to do good. And that truly is doing good. For those of you who didn't know about Marley's Mission, there's another component as well. My very dear, dear friend, Marianne Grippo, was the director of this academy. We went to high school together, we went to college, law school, we were prosecutors together. And she introduced the cadets to the concept of Marley's Mission. This group participated and so many others. And what they do is they come to a summer camp that we have. And the summer camp is named after fallen officer John Wilding. And the purpose of the summer camp is to give children a week to do a great deal of activities, all for free. And when it comes to Friday, that's family fun day. Things get a little crazy. So I said to Marianne, you know, it would be really nice to have some authority-looking figures volunteer. So here come the cadets. And you see these faces of children, some of whom have terrible impressions of police because of what they've experienced in their short lives. And they get to learn who police are. They're just like them. They're normal people. They care, they feel, they hurt, they smile. I'll leave you with one story about the magic of doing good and being good from folks like these cadets who give of themselves for others, and most importantly, for those who are the most innocent in our society. At summer camp, we had a young boy who didn't have the capacity to walk. And every year on that Friday, we always try to do something different. We have a mud run. Nobody from our insurance company is in here. No? Okay. Well, so we do, kind of. And we make a slip and slide, kind of. And this young boy, as you can imagine, had a tremendous desire to try it. But he was in a wheelchair. Who do you think carried him up and down that hill 15 times? The cadets. Who do you think caught him every time he went back down? And they got their uniforms wet and stood in that pool of water and picked him up. His dad literally stood there in tears. Class 241, be good, do good, and please be safe. Thank you.
Thank you, Gene. When I said we gave a lot of thought to who our guest speaker would be, the words he shared with you and the cadets said it all. When I took this job and during my interview, I told the president of this school, please understand, my intent is to develop and produce the best officers, but not only the best officers, I wanted to produce a different kind of officer. And my staff hears me say this all the time. It's not about wearing the badge and showing your authority. It's about being a true social servant, a helper, being there. Our affiliation with Marley's mission has given us more than we give to it, and I can assure you of that. Talking to the cadets when they return from the program and helping out, they can't say enough about what they learned. And that's the kind of programs that we are involved in. It's not only what happens in the classroom, and I know many of the cadets wondered, like, we're doing this community service thing. What are we doing? It's about giving back, because we need that in this world. We need to pass it forward, and that's what this is all about. At this point in the program, it's the time that we give some class awards out. The awards are given to the cadets for a variety of different categories. The cadets do not know until this moment who the recipients are. The first award is Handgun Proficiency. This award is sponsored by the Northeast Pennsylvania Chiefs of Police Association. I'm going to ask Academy Operations Coordinator Will Oliphant and Assistant Director Bob Jolly to assist me in presenting this award. The Handgun Proficiency Award is being presented to Lauren McFarland. Please step forward. Bob, were you smiling?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I just want to make sure. The next award is the Driver's Proficiency Award. This is presented by the PA Chiefs of Police Association, and I'll ask Assistant Director Jolly to join us to present this award to Nicholas Greco. And I would have Al Walker also step forward. Al's the first vice president of the PA Chiefs Association. The third award is a very special award. It's the highest Scholastic award. This is the highest average of all courses combined. I'm going to ask Academy Operation Coordinator Will Oliphant to join me in presenting this award. This award is presented in memory of our past director, Mary Ann Grippo. The award is presented to, and again, remember, they don't know who's getting it, Brandon Gargan. Another example of the collaboration between our academy and local law enforcement is the Trooper Joshua D. Miller Physical Fitness Award. The recipient is chosen based on the combined scores of the 1.5 mile and 300-meter run through the initial, midpoint, and final testing of all physical training skills. And just like with the Handgun Award, there'll be a plaque hanging in our academy with the names of each recipient engraved so future cadets and future classes can be inspired to follow in the recipient's footsteps. Tonight's award will be presented to Cadet Anna Maluk-Fail. The next award is a very, very special award. We call this the Spirit of Distinction Award. The graduating class selects one member to receive this award, and until this time, that member does not know who it is. The award is named for one of our graduates, Eric Williams. Officer Eric Williams was working as a correctional officer at the U.S. Penitentiary in Canaan when he was brutally attacked and stabbed to death by an inmate. Officer Williams was killed on February 25, 2013. He had served with the Federal Bureau of Prisons for only 18 months at that point. He was survived by his parents, sister, and 2 brothers. After his death, Eric's family had dedicated themselves to improving the safety for corrections officers and all of law enforcement. Their family is very close to us, and we value their participation in our academy. They have taken their words to the Capitol, and they have generously given this academy an annual donation from the foundation in Eric's name to support our outreach program, for our family day, for our cadets and their families. It is in the spirit of selflessness that we have named the award for Eric. The award is given to the cadet in each Hazleton class who the class believes embodies the same qualities, honor, dedication, service, courage, selflessness that Eric had displayed throughout his life. The award this evening is being presented to Lauren McFarland. As you heard me mention many of the organizations that participate with us, one of the things that the Academy does, and we try to teach our cadets to do, is to be collaborative with other organizations and their efforts. And we are blessed by the number of organizations and people who have always supported us. The PA Chiefs of Police, I'd like to personally thank Al Walker, because they have been one of our biggest supporters with this award since I went through the academy, and I really don't want to tell you how long ago that was. Some of you may not even have been born. It was '86. But again, we've had a great deal of support. One of the newest initiatives that occurred with our academy, a collaborative effort, was with an organization called the Never Forgotten Ride. I'll now ask Scranton Police Department Officer Paul Reed and his wife Sandy to join us on stage, as they are members of the Never Forgotten Ride, as you heard me introduce them earlier this evening. This is a new addition to our academy, and we are so pleased to have partnered with them. It's a partnership we formed to help, as that is their mission. The organization's mission is dedicated to the welfare of our officers and first responders, and keeping the memory of our fallen first responders alive. And shortly before we started this evening, I was informed that they've changed the way they were going to do this. In the past, they had donated $50 to each cadet to assist them in purchasing equipment. They've informed us tonight that they are donating a $100 gift certificate to each graduating class member for the purchase of essential police equipment that they will need as they begin their careers. How about a round of applause for that? There's nothing more important to our academy as being part of our community. And this is an example of the collaborative effort between Lackawanna College, our police academy, and organizations throughout Pennsylvania. We are now going to present the certificates. The time has now come to present the certificates. Now, the cadets are given an option of having someone close to them or someone in law enforcement to present their certificate. Some have chosen to have the person join them on stage as they receive their certificate. Assisting me in presenting the certificates of completion from the Police Academy will be Assistant Director Robert Jolly and Academy Operations Coordinator Will Oliphant. Gentlemen. Cadet, as I call your name, please step forward. The first cadet is Brandon Gargan. Step up. You can step up. As they receive their certificate, they're also getting their gift certificate from Never Forgotten. The next cadet is Nicholas Greco. Cadet Zachary Heinlein. Cadet Frank Kirschner. Cadet Robert Kleppinger, presented by his father, Robert Kleppinger Jr., United States Army. I know that feeling. Lieutenant Anna Maluk Flail, presented by her brother. Her brother will be presenting this certificate. He is FBI Supervisory Special Agent Anthony Maluk. Next is Cadet Lauren McFarland. Is it Thomas McCann? Cadet Thomas McClain. Presented by Chief Detective Eric Kirshner, Monroe County District Attorney's Office. That's it. That's it. That's it. How about a round of applause for Class 241? At this point in our program, we tell you a little bit about how important it is to honor those who have come before you. Several years ago, we created a program where each class is instructed to choose a fallen officer to whom they dedicate their training and graduation. This tradition underscores for the cadets the serious nature of their jobs and how important it is to perform their duties with honor, not only for themselves and those they serve, but in order to do justice to the men and women and canines who lay down their lives in this honorable profession. Each class, upon graduation, then will now be referred to as the name of their fallen officer. Class 241 has chosen Patrolman Brian Shaw. Patrolman Brian Shaw of the New Kensington Police Department was shot and killed while making a traffic stop on a vehicle in the 1200 block of Lehman Avenue at approximately 8 p.m. on November 17, 2017. The vehicle passenger fled on foot during the stop, then opened fire on Patrolman Shaw as he pursued him. Although he was wearing his vest, Patrolman Shaw was fatally wounded during the foot pursuit. The subject fled the scene but was later arrested. Patrolman Shaw had served with the New Kensington Police Department for only 5 months. He had previously served as a part-time officer for 3 years with another police department, East Deer Township Police Department. He was survived by his parents, brother, and grandmother. The Lackawanna College Police Academy will forever remember Patrolman Brian Shaw. Class 241 will now be recognized as Class Patrolman Brian David Shaw. The graduation ceremony that you are here tonight attending is dedicated to him and his dedication to service and sacrifice. We have a plaque prepared honoring Officer Shaw with our Academy patch and inscribed as the names of each member of Class 241. We will be providing this plaque to all fallen officer plaque to his department. The next portion of our program is the presentation of challenge coins. The challenge coins is another tradition of the Lackawanna College Police Academy. It's presented to each cadet depicting the Academy logo and the mission, honor, integrity, and courage, and includes the department patch and the name of the fallen officer and his end of watch date. The cadets have received this coin from our assistant directors and the operation coordinator, Will Oliphant. The history of this coin commemorates a special event for membership in agencies and organizations. They are now carried by military and law enforcement and identifies the holder as a member of a particular unit with a well-defined history and mission. Honoring our fallen officers is much more than recognizing the officer and his deeds. Again, it's to create the memory and keep the memory alive of people who have come before us and laid down their life for others. The banner ceremony is a ceremony that we close our program with. I'm going to ask Captain Daig from Class 244 to please step forward. She is joining us on stage next to the Academy flag that stands in each of our campuses. The outgoing class captain will be presented with a banner that bears Officer Shaw's name and our Academy patch and the class number, 241. The outgoing captain will tie this banner on the Police Academy flag that stands in the Academy entrance. The flag is adorned with streamers bearing the names of fallen officers who have been honored by our Academy throughout the years. The flag then stands to remember, as a reminder, to each current and incoming cadet of those who have gone before them in this profession, so that they can respect the importance and magnitude of the commitment that they are making. Assistant Director Jolly will present the banner to Captain Greco, as the Bagpiper will then join us in honoring the fallen officer and all fallen officers. Thank you. I'd like to thank everyone for joining us here tonight on this special occasion. Class 241, you made it. You join a legacy of officers that over the last 42 years of this police academy have graduated and moved on to become chiefs of police, police supervisors, officers in federal, state, and local law enforcement. During your time at the academy, you've gained knowledge, skills, and a foundation of expertise in many different areas. I leave you with a few parting words. Your commitment to the mission in front of you is so important. It is so important to the citizens of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, and it is important to you and all fellow law enforcement officers. Go with honor, courage, and integrity. Make the commitment to not be in competition with anyone out there, to just be in competition with yourself, that tomorrow will be a better day for you and the citizens of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. I applaud you and thank you for the service and for your service at the Police Academy. And remember, you always have a family here at the Academy. Thank you and have a good evening. For the last time, I ask Drill Instructor Belanger and Instructor Bernardi to take command of Class 241. Thank you. Have a good evening and drive safely.
All right, face. Our word.
gift for you, Mr. Director. Thank you very much.
Oh, yeah. He was quick.
We're trying to do the audience now. Did you guys get any?
Yeah, they did work.
Thank you.
No, you're welcome.
Thank you for everything. Thank you so much. Good morning.